Friends, now let us discuss about the extern keyword. We use this extern keyword on just before variable declaration. That's where we use extern keyword. So I'll just read out the definition that I have written. Extern tells us that the variable that is defined elsewhere. So extern tells us that the variable is already defined in some other block. Variable definition means value is already assigned in some other block. Memory is already allocated in different block. That is what the extern tells us. So this definition, it may seem a little complicated, but once we go through the program, that's why I've demonstrated a small program, the meaning of extern would be completely clear. Anyway, let's just read the program. As usual, in the first program, I would begin my program by saying #include stdio.h. After which, I would have one global variable of integer type called temp, which I would be initializing to 10. So if you ask me how it would look in the memory, inside the memory unit of the computer, I have represented it to the right of the output. You can see for the global variable temp, one memory is allocated and 10 is placed there. After which, I would get into the main function, in which I would have a local variable of the same name, int temp is equal to 20. If you ask me, is it legal to have such a variable of the same name? Yes, it is legal. It is legal. So what happens in the memory I have shown. For the local variable temp, integer memory is allocated. Not only that, the value 20 is assigned to that. Then I am having a printf statement in which I am trying to print the variable temp. So some of them may be confused as to which variable would be printed, whether the local variable would be printed or the global variable would be printed. Like that, some of them may be confused. Please remember that when there's a conflict between local and global variables, the local variable always wins. In other words, it would print 20. Not only in C language, assume that, when you look at the middle part of the board after the syntax, I've just written a small headline of today's newspaper, in which it said, Prime Minister takes office as of today. That is what it said. Me being an Indian, I obviously would think it's the Indian Prime Minister. I wouldn't think it's some other country's Prime Minister. If, in other words, what I'm trying to say is, I always think of the local Prime Minister when I am in doubt. I will not think of the global Prime Minister. In other words, local always gets a higher priority when compared to global. This is a crude example, but it holds good in all the situations. Even for compiler also, if the compiler is in doubt which variable to print, it will always give importance to local variable than global variable. Anyway, so going back to the program, for the output for the first program is 20. Anyway, we are not bothered about the output here. We are bothered about the memory allocation actually. I hope you understood that as well. After which, let's see. I've written the second program just like that. There's just one difference. Keep watching. As usual, I've begun my program by saying #include stdio.h, and then I've created a global variable temp, and I've placed 10 in it initially. After which, in the int main function, I've said extern int temp is equal to 20. So what this variable keyword extern does is that it will tell the compiler, no, don't create another variable called temp. He has used the keyword extern, which means the variable is already defined somewhere else. Search for that and modify that value. That is the meaning of extern keyword. Extern keyword says to the compiler, no, the variable is defined somewhere else. That's the use of extern keyword. Anyway, you can just look at the memory unit, how it will work. Initially, global variable temp would be 10. After saying extern int temp is equal to 20, that 10 would be replaced by 20 in the same location. Afterwards, when I print %temp, it would print 20 as output, and I'm returning the control from the main function. So after seeing the program, now if you read the definition of extern keyword, I think it should be very clear to you. Anyway, I'll just read it once. Extern tells that the variable is defined somewhere else. That is, the value for that variable is assigned somewhere else. Memory is already allocated in some different block. That is the definition. Yes, that's what is happening. Int temp is equal to 10. It's already defined somewhere else. And this is the use of extern. I mean, more on extern I would be speaking in the future videos, but I hope you have got a brief idea as to how extern works. Like that, I'll just give a brief overview on all the 5 important keywords: const, static, void, typedef. Then I will do a few more examples on using all the keywords together. So that should give complete clarity on as far as these keywords are concerned. Thank you for watching this video.